Welcome to Healing Conversations with Coach V. That's me, Coach V, certified life coach and personal growth expert with SVM Initiatives, LLC. I'm also a state certified peer recovery coach in addictions and mental health. With that being said, I want to welcome our guest for today, Miss Amanda, who's going to share with us her journey of healing, life challenges, and the steps that she took to become the woman that she is today. So, Amanda, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Good. So again, as we already know, the show today is talking about healing and purpose and the things that we did to heal and come out of some kind of dark places in life.
Yeah.
But before we get into that meat of it, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do?
My name's Amanda Graves, you know. I am from Connorsville, Indiana, and I work for an awesome company called Nehemiah Manufacturing, and they offer a second chance hiring.
Yes.
For people who have maybe not had a good work history or just not a lot of work history, felonies, who have been through some things in their life, programs maybe for recovery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are a good friend of Stephanie.
Oh, yeah, Stephanie.
Who's been here and graced us with her presence. So
Yes.
we know a lot about the good work that Nehemiah does. So welcome. So you're from Indiana, and I believe that's home of the Colts.
Yes.
Is that the Colts?
Yes.
Okay. But now you're in Houday Nation.
Colts first,
So,
but then Houday.
See, this real conversation. Okay?
Now,
This
if they're
real
not playing each other, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely rooting for Bengals.
Okay.
But when they're playing, I'm rooting for the Colts.
Understood. Well, welcome to Cincinnati.
Yeah, thank you.
And so tell me a little bit about your background, or a little bit about what I call, quote unquote, a dark place in your life.
Well, my childhood wasn't the best. I had a very dysfunctional family, an alcoholic father.
Okay.
You know, and with him being an alcoholic, my mom ended up turning to gambling to cope with that.
Right.
And you know, I had a really there wasn't a lot of love. They provided, but not a lot of love, not a lot of nurturing.
Right.
And you know, in my childhood, I was sexually abused by more than one person, close to the family, and it led me to addiction. I became addicted to pills.
So you would say that was one of your coping mechanisms?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was addicted to pills, and then, you know, for like, I don't even know, probably like 17 years.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
And then it started with pills and ended up with heroin.
Okay. So over the 17 years, you made that transition from the pills to the heroin.
Yes.
During that time, what kept you going? I mean, I know you were using those behaviors to cope with, as you mentioned, your childhood and different challenges. But there was something that had to have kept you going, even though you may have been doing a behavior you didn't like, but 17 years is a long time to do. Was there some sort of hope that you had, or a day where you saw I wouldn't be abusing these substances? What kept you going for 17 years?
I don't really know. I numbed the pain out.
Right. Okay.
You know, I just numbed the pain with that. And so, I mean, it had to be God keeping me going, you know, right there with me.
Absolutely.
Not liking what I'm doing, but still by me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So at the end of that 17 years, what was the turning point?
Oh, well, I had stole from my parents.
Okay.
And it was about the last time.
Okay.
You know, they were done. They were going to kick me out, and they weren't going to let me go stay with my grandma, who would have let me, but they weren't having it.
Yeah.
So it just came down to me pretty much crying out to God and saying, you know, I've tried all my ways.
Right.
And they're not working.
Yes.
You know, and every time I would see like churchgoers and people talking about Jesus and God, and I just thought they were brainwashed. You know, I didn't really get it. And I was raised in a Catholic church, and there was a religion, but no relationship, you know. So,
very important.
So I cried out to God, like, I'm going to try you. I mean, like, it's not working.
Okay.
What can it hurt to try?
Okay.
Try God.
Now, to go back a little bit, I know that just in my experience, in my practice, that a lot of people who use different coping behaviors, they have a point where they feel as if they've hit rock bottom. Would you say that you were at that position when you cried out for help, or had you hit rock bottom a few times before and just still was working to get it together? What did that look like?
I think I was just really for a few years, I was just really on the bottom.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I had been at the bottom for a while, and it was just, so yeah, I had been at the bottom for a while.
Okay. And as far as your parents stepping in and saying, hey, you can't go to grandma, did you have what you felt like a support system at that time that was trying to pull you to live a different lifestyle, or was it pretty much just you and figuring it out?
Yeah, me and figuring it out.
Yeah.
I had, he's not my brother-in-law, but yeah, a guy who pretty much prayed for me, and he led me to here in Cincinnati, to the program I went to.
Okay. And what program did you go to? What happened there?
That was City Gospel Mission,
Yes.
Having the Courage to Change.
Okay.
And when I walked in and met all the ladies there, I cried because I felt like I finally belonged somewhere.
The spirit just knew.
Yeah. Because from the age of, from first grade, I guess that's about 7, I felt like I didn't belong with my family. And so I had hunger pains when I was young. And just when I got there, I felt like I finally belonged, and I just cried. I couldn't even say anything to the ladies. I just cried. You know, and so they introduced me to Christ there. Yes.
So, but before we get to that juicy meats right there about introducing you to Christ, I want to go back just a little bit, because I think that a lot of people have some point in their life, whether it's as a child, an adolescent, or an adult, where they have a point where they feel like, I don't fit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't belong. I know y'all said this is my family, or I know y'all said this is supposed to be my best friend or my spouse, but I kind of feel out of place.
Yeah.
Can you just kind of enlighten us just a little bit about what that space feels like?
I felt really alone.
Okay.
And just like very alone in that I was alone in the world.
Okay.
At a young age.
Okay.
That I was pretty much by myself, and whether they're family or not, like, you're on your own. Really, when it comes down to it, you're on your own.
And you made a point earlier about your parents being providers, but the nurturing per se was lacking. And I think that's another crucial point for the community to touch on, because there are a lot of parents that are providers. They'll make sure there's a roof over your head, or your basic necessities, food, you're going to school, you have clothes on, but there's just so much more that's needed.
Yes.
There's the hugs and the kisses and the high fives, and even though we don't like it, the corrective discipline, you know, those are nurturing things that are just as important, if not more important, than being able to have a bed to lay in at night and food to eat. You know, those are basic needs, but we have a need as humans to feel loved and feel a part of a group and a unit. And I just think it's important, and I appreciate that you touched on that, so that everyone knows that, hey, it's beyond the physical, essentially.
Yes.
It's beyond the physical.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. So now, since we've talking beyond the physical, and we're talking about the nurturing, which could play into the mental, emotional, let's go where we should go, to the spiritual.
Okay.
So tell us about your introduction to Christ.
Okay, so at the program, we do Bible studies, and, you know, we really just talk about God, and they take us to church every weekend. And I visited a lot of different churches, and we went to a church, and they called people to the front if you felt the Spirit, and I felt the Spirit there, and I went to the front.
Now, was that on your first visit?
Probably.
Pretty early on? Okay.
Pretty early on.
Okay.
And so that was the start of it. I got baptized June 22nd of 2014.
Okay.
And God has really been with me. And in me crying out to him, you know, before I even came for the program, I had severe social anxiety
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Severe.
I don't believe that, but okay.
Severe. Like I couldn't even go into Walmart. I
Wow,
was
okay.
scared to go to my son's games.
Okay.
I cried and left the game. I didn't even go in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So so the severe social anxiety, like, okay, I just lost my spot.
No, you're fine. So when you first started going to the church, like you said, you went to, I think they call that altar call, when they have you
Yes.
come to the front and the Spirit moves you. And you just had a little over 3-year anniversary now with your baptism, right? June 22nd.
Yes.
Okay. And then you were experiencing, as you were saying, the social anxiety and not being able to attend your son's game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to that, the severe social anxiety, I was unable to really participate in things. So I prayed about it before I came here, like, God, help me with this, kind of like take it away as much as possible so I can interact and stay.
Right.
Because that would run me right out, because I would feel like my anxiety would tell me, and the devil, let me just say that, the enemy is totally there, and tell me like I'm not good enough. All these people, like I just don't fit in with them either, and they know what to say and they know how to talk better than me and all this stuff that would keep me from participating. So I prayed before I came down here, and he really was there the whole time. He remained faithful the whole time.
Now, I think what's interesting is that even before you were brought to City Gospel Mission and to the program, you stated that you had a sense, or your spirit was telling you, hey, I got to do something different. This is something I haven't tried. Even though I think they brainwashed, let me give it a try.
Yes.
And then when you finally walked in and was introduced, it was like, the heavens opened up, because there was confirmation in your gut or your inner self or your spirit that, okay, my child, you're here. You finally found it. You finally, you're in a space where you belong. So even though you're around people that may not have been blood relatives, you felt like you found home.
I did.
Yeah. And how did that feel?
Oh, that was amazing. People were telling me that they loved me and they didn't even know me.
Yes.
And they really loved me when I didn't know how to love myself.
Yes.
And just amazing, and then pouring into me and the other girls there. They really pour into you, and they really love the girls.
You can't even talk about it without smiling.
I know.
That's a genuine joy. I tell a lot of my clients at times when I'm working with them through different things that if you don't have the strength or the belief or the confidence in yourself, use the confidence I have in you.
Exactly.
Until you're able to develop your own.
Yes.
And it's the same concept when it's about self-love.
Yeah.
If you have people around you, because your gut or your spirit knows when people genuinely care.
Yes.
Or if they are up to no good.
Right.
So once we have that confirmation in the inside, like, no, these people are genuine. They
Right.
really do love me. They really do care. Then it's okay to lean on that strength.
Yes.
Until you develop it for yourself. So at the point that started to change for you, tell us what that felt like for Amanda to love Amanda.
Oh, that was different. That was surely different. Because I've never felt good enough and never had the confidence or self-esteem. I really struggled with that, and looking for validation through outside things.
Yes. Yes.
So really just accepting the fact that I'm worthy and loved, and that I'm more than good enough has been huge for me.
We got that church in here today. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So, and who am I to think that I'm not good enough in the eyes of God? Yes. How disrespectful of me.
Yes.
Yes.
But you had to be taught that and come into that understanding.
Yes.
And I think it's important for programs such as what you went through, and then us on our own talking and per se witnessing to other people. Like, hey, A, B, C, D, and E, because not everyone has the strength, whether it's a social anxiety disorder, whether it's a physical condition, to walk into a program and benefit.
Yeah.
So that's where we have the job of being ministers.
Yes.
And while we're out at work, or we're out at the stores or shopping or having dinner with our family, or we having a sister-girlfriend conversation
Yes.
here. That's all part of our ministry to let those know, hey, I did it, you can do it too.
Oh, yes.
Just different avenues to get there, different roads to get
Yes.
there, but it's possible.
It is.
Recovery is possible. Self-love, self-esteem, self-confidence is possible. Smiling is possible because you just smiling up a storm. It's possible. It's possible. So at the point that you started to become involved and more active in the program, because I'm banking that your social anxiety disorder either decreased or was eliminated. So at the point that you became more active, what type of steps or things did you do to get more benefit from the program? You reached out and made more friends, you went out and ministered, you volunteered. What types of things did you do?
Well, they have a lot of things within the program.
Okay.
And just if you participate and give an effort, you can gain a lot.
Okay.
They have a group called Step Forward that runs the Flying Pig every year.
Okay.
And they have volunteers that come to run with us and take time out of their day.
Wow. Okay.
You know, and really when you get that connection with the volunteer, like they're being rewarded by helping you. And I found the same thing. So they have that there and just participating. I do an outreach with the Lord's Gym.
Okay. Yes.
And we go out and do street ministry.
Okay.
And so that reminds me where I've been, and for the grace of God, there go I.
I think that one of the biggest witnesses to someone who may be searching is to share a part of yourself. It's one thing for you to talk to me or tell me about something you read or what someone else have told you, because then I'm probably going to side eye you like, but you don't know.
Right,
But
right.
then when you're able to share a piece of you, then I understand, like, okay, well, maybe she do know.
Yeah.
Maybe she does understand my pain. Maybe she does understand the challenges I'm having. That gets me to buy into you more.
Yeah.
And then now I'm open for you to really minister to me and to teach me. And that's one of the aspects that I use in my practice. A lot of the things that I help my clients with is based upon my shared live experience, so that they understand, like, I've been there.
Yes.
And so to use a cliche, if I did it, you can do it too.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that you have done or continue to do those same things when you go out and minister. Like, Amanda, no, you don't know, and I've been through this and I've been through this. And whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Amanda. Pre-Christ,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you go out and minister, I'm sure that is a form of healing or helps you as well.
Yes.
Because this journey, sometimes it's never ending. You know, there's times that we think, you know, we've overcame whatever that challenge was, but then a life situation can happen and cause us to stumble.
Yes.
Not fall, but cause us to stumble.
Yes.
So then we have to sit down and go over the steps we took to get to where we were previously. So when you're out ministering, has there been instances where maybe it caused you to stumble and then you had to rely maybe back on your faith to get you back to where you are?
I have stumbled in my walk. And I did have to rely on my faith and the network around me.
Yes.
Mostly the network around
Yes.
me. Let me just say that.
Yes.
The
yes.
network around me, because while I became a believer, I really wasn't nurturing my relationship with God.
Okay.
And so, you know, there's no doubt God has been in my life this whole journey. I have found happiness, joy in recovery.
Yes.
That I never thought I didn't love life with it or without it at other times of recovery and or my sober times. And yes.
Good. So help us understand when you just made a statement about there were times you didn't nurture. You were a believer, but you didn't nurture your relationship. Help us understand what that means and what that looks like for you.
Yeah, so I just kind of got caught up in daily life. Really wasn't praying a lot, wasn't going to church regularly, and I just wasn't giving God my all. I did get baptized and I'm a believer, but I wasn't really like all in.
Yes.
I did the parts that I wanted to do,
Right.
and the
Pick and
other
choose.
stuff I kept.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and Yeah, and I read a sign before. I'm a church reading sign, or the church signs. I read those a lot, but one really stuck out to me once was, you can't walk with God and hold hands with the devil. Which was really powerful for me.
Yes.
And that comes up a lot. You can't, like, I don't want to be lukewarm.
Right.
I don't want to ride the fence. And that's hard. That's hard living right there when you do that.
Yes, and it definitely can become a challenge and present a challenge. I think there's also a scripture that says you can't serve two masters.
Exactly.
Pick one.
Yes.
It's pick one. And that doesn't mean that once you make a choice that your path is going to be cool and perfect without bumps. It doesn't mean that at all. That just means make a decision. Or as you said, don't be lukewarm. Don't ride the fence.
Right.
And I think that's such a huge part of healing. Sometimes people want to hold on so much to their story, but then at the same time they say they want to move forward and heal. But no, let me hold on to a piece of this. Let me keep beating this drum. Let me keep, But at the point that you decide, okay, I'm done with this. Let me do something different. Let me go all in. And we have to. And again, I want to emphasize that does not mean it's going to be a perfectly smooth, straight journey. That's why we have to have processes in place that when we do stumble, because it's going to happen because we're imperfect, that we have processes in place to get us back on that road. And I think that's a huge aspect of it. What are some of the things that you did or that you presently do to help you get back on that road when you stumble? I'm sure prayer probably is one of them.
Oh yeah, prayer. I started going to a church.
Okay.
I was always a visitor in the church.
Right.
I never really had a church.
Right.
So I started going to Crossroads.
Yes.
West Side.
Okay. Woo! West Side. Okay.
And I've been going there for about 2 months.
Okay.
And I was looking into getting into a group. Because I need connections at church.
Yes.
I want strong women to be around me. I want, I want all that. I want to be a part of. And so I didn't really find a group. So one Sunday in church, they were talking about needing volunteers. And I've done my spiritual gifts test.
Okay.
And I'm a server at heart.
Okay.
So I signed up for that. And now I am handing out the programs.
Okay.
And seeing all the lovely faces of everybody, and I do the collection.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's really amazing, like what God can do.
So I'm seeing a full 360 from that, and I'm put it in quotes this time, that social anxiety disorder that you used to have. A full 360.
Yes.
How does it feel getting out there and smiling at people and greeting them? And you ever saw yourself being on that end of your social anxiety?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
It's truly amazing, and it reminds me that God will use your weakness and make you strong in it
all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
And I'm really just doing a lot of stuff, like bucket list stuff, and it could be eating at a new restaurant or whatever, because I didn't have that when I was younger.
Yes.
So I love trying new things and doing fun stuff and making memories.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's important. Growing up, there was always a saying that, and forgive me if I mess it up, but there was a saying about an idle mind is the devil's playground.
Yes.
So it's very pertinent that when you're going through healing to stay busy.
Yes.
And one of the main tenets that people are taught from healing is to help others. That's healing in itself, for you to go out and minister and help other people.
Yes.
It doesn't even have to be a grand gesture. It could be just listening to someone tell you about their commute. It could be just holding the door open for the person behind you.
Yes.
It could be something as small as that, or it could be a grand gesture. But when we give back to other people, help other people, it makes us feel good about ourselves. Yeah, it makes us feel good. So that's good that you're becoming more active in your church, and that's helping you on your healing journey. And you don't know, some of the people you may be encountering, that smile pushed them through that day. Or they did all they could to get to service that day, and you're greeting them and handing them a program was just a little push that they need to go another day. So it's important to also acknowledge those things as well. It's easy.
Yes.
It's easy. You got some pretty white teeth,
Oh,
and
thanks.
you smiling at everybody.
Thank you.
Good. So on your journey that you're still doing day to day to heal and to minister to others and to give back and to be more active in the church, and what is one of the biggest memories that you have created already for yourself? When you said you made like a bucket list of things that you want to do or that you didn't get to do when you were younger that you're currently doing, share with us briefly something just that you just did that was just so amazing for you.
Oh my. Well, this was just this weekend.
Okay.
I went on the Mass Walk.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
was the most beautiful thing I've ever, next to my son, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced in my life.
That's a pretty high ranking next to your son, huh?
Yes.
Because being a mother is in itself its own amazing category. So for those of us who may not know, can you tell us in the brief sentences what the Mass Walk is?
It's a spiritual walk with the Lord, and it pretty much just shows you how much He loves you, and it's amazing. It was right on time for me. As I was struggling the prior week, just about my past and not being, validated by the men in my life, and looking for that in random men, and just that core belief of not good enough, and so it really opened my eyes. It was God treating me like a princess, and it was perfect timing.
Yes.
And in that, like, God is even, like, He's healing my family right in front of my eyes.
Right.
It is the most beautiful thing, and I try to embrace every moment of it. He's healing my relationship with my son, and it's just, and really this weekend was just like a sealed deal for me.
Right.
It's, who am I to think that I'm not good enough? Who am I to say that to God, who thinks I'm amazing, and counted every hair on my head, and knows them. But I just got to get out of my own way.
Exactly. And that's always the challenge. Get out of our own way.
Yes.
Get out of our own way. There's a scripture in final that says, seek ye first the kingdom. Then all things will be added to you. Yes. And I think that your story is a huge walking testimony of that, because once you begin to actively do that, as you shared with us, everything's been falling into place for you. So I am so glad that you were able to come in and share with us your story. What I always like to do for my guests for spending their time and come sharing with us is I like to offer as a token of gratitude a wristband. That says Healing Conversations with Coach V, just as a small reminder that you came and you helped not only yourself and myself heal, but you helped our audience heal. So thank you so much. Wear that with pride. Tell everybody where you've been.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes.
So thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, and I'm dressed like this because it's Halloween. So just forgot to tell y'all that earlier today. So thank you for tuning in to Healing Conversations with Coach V. I'm Coach V, certified life coach and personal growth expert with SVM Initiatives, LLC. We'll see you next time.